What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video on how to create this amazing portfolio website with reactjs. In our last tutorial, we created this nice sidebar with the over effect on the links. We have this nice over effect on the text right there. We have this nice over effect on the button. We have this GSAP animation that we added in our last tutorial. We also created this theme template with the functionality of light mode and dark mode, and it has 7 different template colors. Okay, so in this video we are going to continue from where we stopped and build the about and then the skills section. If I navigate to the completed project and scroll a little bit down, you will see the about. When I hover over the text, we have this nice animation, and then we have a little description about me. We also have the button that is clickable for us to download the CV. And then when I hover over these cards, you can see the over effect. And basically this is all we are going to be building in this video. But for those who are just seeing this video for the first time, in our last tutorial we already created some part of the project. And if you really want to join us, make sure that you watch the first video. The link will be in the description below. So after watching that, you can join us on how to build this great portfolio website. So with that being said, let me navigate to my text editor, and inside the starter code, let me go to the SRC folder and then to the pages folder. Inside the pages folder, click on the about and then the about.jsx. In our last tutorial, we created this simple component, and I will right away open the about.scss. So the first thing I will do is to import the SCSS before I forget. And I will also import some things that we are going to be using to create this wonderful about section. So the first thing I will import is the CV, and it's coming from the assets. So I will have to navigate 2 steps backward and then go to assets/my CV. If you don't see the CV in your own folder, make sure that you add your own CV. I think I removed it somehow. And I will also import reveal from React Review/reveal. And I also have to go with import fade from React Review/fade, like so. So basically React Review is going to enable us to add custom animation to our element on the web page. So React Reveal is a library animation for React. If you really want to know more about it, you can go to their official website called React Review. And in here you can see all the steps and guidelines for you to install the library and make use of it. Okay, so you can read the documentation and find the different method for you to achieve this nice animation that we are going to add on our web page. So if I scroll a little bit down, you will see some element that is being faded from the bottom. Okay, so this is what we are going to use React Review to achieve. So with that being said, I also want to import the blast animation that we created in our last tutorial, and it's coming from the component. Let me write it properly. It's coming from /component/blast animation, like so. So in here I will go with my React fragment, and I will pass in the reveal that I just import, like so. And in here I'll just write my div, which is going to have a class name of fake big, and it's going to have the text of about. So right after the div, I'm going to go with another div, and this one is going to have a class name. It's going to have a class name of section-about-wrapper, and another class name of section__padding. So inside the div, I'll go with another tag called article. It's going to have a class name called section-about-description. So inside the article, I'm going to go with another div. Inside the div is going to have the h2 tag. Let me add the area label of about and skills, like so. So in here, I want to pass in the about and skills, like so. And if I navigate to the completed project, you will see that we are able to add the over effect on the about. So for us to achieve the same thing, we are going to make use of the blast component that we used in our last tutorial to achieve the same thing with the header right there. Okay, so what we have to do is to import the use effect and then the use state, use effect, and then let's import the use state. And we created a state called letter class and set letter class, like so, and it's equals to use state. So inside the parentheses, we pass in text animate as the class name. All right, like so. And now instead of passing the text about skills, I am going to go with my blast animation component. Okay, so let me pass in the blast animation component. It has 3 props. The first one is the letter class, which is equals to the letter class that we just created. And the second item is the array string. But for us to avoid any mistake, let's navigate to the component, and then let's go to the header, open the header.jsx, and then copy the use effect. Okay, copy the use effect, go back to the about.jsx and paste the use effect that we have right there. And what we have to copy now is to get the 3 props. So we have the array string, and then we have the index letter. Okay, so I can just copy the blast. Let me copy the blast like so, go back to the about.jsx and replace the blast that I've written right there with this one. All right, so the array string is not going to be the array job array, but we are going to create its own array right there. So the first letter that we want to get is the letter A, and then we have the letter B to represent the about. So I'll go with O, and then I'll go with U, and then I'll go with T. I'll go with T, and I'll go with another empty array for us to have some space between about and skills. All right, so after writing that, let me pass in the 15 as the index letter like so, and we can save it. And for us to save some space, let me minimize it. Right after the h2, I am going to go with a fade that I import from React Reveal. So in here, I'll pass in my p element, and I'll write some text that I've already copied out. So I'll just paste it right there. So I will duplicate it 2 more times like so, because we have 3 paragraphs on the word page. And I'll just go to the computer project and copy everything in order to have the same thing like so, and replace it with the second one. Format my code by pressing Ctrl S, and I'll do the same thing for the third one as well. So let me copy everything and replace it with the one I just copied, format it, and have this nice result. Okay, so right after that, I'm going to specify from which direction the text are going to fade in. So the first one is going to be from bottom, and then the second one is also going to be from bottom, I guess. and the first one is going to be from the left. So let me pass in from the left like so. So after that, so right after the fade, I want to go with another one called fade like so, and this one is going to come from the left. Before I actually place anything inside it, let me navigate to the computer project, and then if I scroll a little bit down, I want you to notice the button. As you can see, the button came from the left. We are going to add that animation to it for us to get the same thing, and then we are going to create the same button with the over effect, and we are going to add the method for us to download the CV. So for us to achieve that, I'll go with another div inside the fade, and in here I will go with my anchor tag, and it's going to have the href of my CV that I import from the asset, and I'm going to pass in the download method for us to download the CV. So in here, all I have to do is to pass in a span called that is going to have a class name of pg and another class name of switch underscore pg. The span is going to be empty, and then I'll go with another one called with a class name of base, and it's going to have another class name of pg underscore border dash color like so, and it's going to be empty as well. And then I'll go with another span with a class name of text, and in here I'll just pass in download CV. Okay, now that the button has been created, we have to get the Scss style for us to have the result of what we have been building since morning. So for us to get that, let's navigate to the GitHub profile and click on the final code. So click on the src and click on pages. So when you get there, you should see the about folder. Inside the about, we have the JSX file and then the Scss file. Click on the about.scss and copy everything. So when you do that, just navigate back to your text editor and paste everything that you just copied. And for us to see what you've been building in action, we need to import the about component inside the home component. So let's navigate to the home folder and open the home.jsx, and in here let me import the about, and then it's coming from $/ and then about / about. So right after that, I'll go with a section, and it's going to have a class name. In here I'll just pass in section-about. So inside the section tag, I will pass in the about component. I just import like so, and let me navigate to my project that we are building, and it seems like we have some kind of issue. Now we need to find the error, and it's in the about. So let's navigate back to the about page, scroll all the way to the top, and yeah, the blast is coming from the blast animation, but we didn't specify the components. So let's do that and navigate back to the web page. Now, of course, the error is gone, and let's refresh the web page a little bit and scroll all the way to the bottom. And yeah, of course, we can see the about, but we have some kind of issue with the button that we created. So for us to solve the issue, let's navigate back to the about.js, scroll all the way to the bottom, and yeah, of course, the div that I placed right there was supposed to wrap all these 3 spans. So the anchor tag was supposed to be the parent element of the div and the span. So let's do that. Let's pass in the span, and let's wrap everything right there. Okay, like so. So let me pass everything right there, format my code, and the anchor tag was supposed to have some kind of class name. So let me add a class name. So the first class name is going to be contact button, and it's going to have another class called submit dash button. Okay, so let me save the code, and now let me navigate to my web page, scroll down a little bit, and now we have our button. Okay, so I want you to remember that the classes that we added to this button to achieve the same result of this has been added in our last tutorial. Okay, So I just added a class name and get the same result as we did in our last tutorial. So I can change the color, I can change everything, and we still get the same result of what is expected. Okay, so now we want to start building the card section like so. So for us to get started, we need to navigate back to our text editor, and what I want to do now is to close everything out like so, and go to my src folder and go to the component. Inside the component, you will see a folder called the skills card. Open the JSX and the SCSS file. Inside the JSX file, I will run the command RAFCE to create a React functional component, and I will right away import fade from React reveal like so, and then it's coming from fade. And now let me import skills set from data, and basically this is the array that we are going to iterate over for us to display all the cards on our web page. So it's coming from data. For me to show that to you in action, let me navigate to the data folder, open the data.js file, scroll a little bit to the bottom, and yeah, we have the skill set. It's an array of objects with each object having the icon, the span text, and then the URL. We are going to iterate over it and display them nicely on our web page. So with that being said, let me navigate back to cast.jsx, and in here, let me go with my parentheses, and now I want to go with a div. The div is going to have a class name of about dash description dash skills. So inside the div, you're going to go back to JavaScript land by specifying the curly bracket, and now I want to specify the skill set that we import, and we are going to map through it since it's an array. And the first parameter is going to be the item, and then the second one is the index. And now I want to go with a fade that I import from React Reveal. Each card is going to fade from the bottom, so I will specify the bottom. And to avoid React issue, I'm going to specify the index right there and concatenate it with the item to make it unique. So inside the fade, what I want to do now is to pass in the anchor tag so that we'll be able to click on the cards so that it will direct us to another page where we can read more about that particular language. So for us to get the URL, we are going to go with index.url like so, and inside the div, what I want to do now is to specify the item dash icon, and right under it I'm going to go with a span that has a class name of skill underscore name, and inside the span I'm going to specify the name of that particular language. So it's going to be item.spanText like so. Of course, we have to return all these elements, and yeah, basically. So inside the anchor tag, we still have to add some kind of class name. So let me go with the class name like so, and the class name is going to have a skill dash container. Let me pass in the relationship, which is no opener like so. Make sure that you write it very well as well, no opener. And let me specify another one called no orifier like so, and it's also going to have a target called blank so that the item will open itself in another tab. So let me go with target, and it's going to be underscore blank like so. So now basically this is all we have to do. And for us to see that in action, let me import this component inside our about component. So let me navigate to pages and go to about, then I'll open my about.jsx, scroll all the way to the top and specify the about component, the cards component, sorry. So let me go with import cards, and then it's coming from components, skills card, and then the card component. So right under here, so let me navigate all the way to the bottom, and right after this article I'm going to display the cards that I just imported like so. For us to see the results, let me navigate to our web page, and yeah, we can see all the cards that we iterate over right on the page. But for now, the alignment is very terrible because we haven't provided the Scss styles that have been created for us to achieve the same result as the original one. So for us to do that, let's navigate back to my GitHub repo, go to the final code, and then navigate to the src, go to the component, and scroll all the way to the bottom, and you will see the skills card folder, which has a JSX and the Scss file. Click on the Scss file and copy everything like so. Navigate back to your text editor and go to cards.scss and paste everything you just copied. So what we have to do now is to navigate back to our web page and refresh like so. But we still have the same result, and I think now I have forgotten to import the Scss file, and yeah, of course that is true. So what I have to do is to import the Scss file right away and navigate back to our web page. Let me refresh again. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and now we have the expected results. Now if I click on the about, it's going to navigate us to the about page, and the reason why we have that is because we have the specific component for the about page, and at the same time we import the entire about page inside the home component. So we are able to render the about page inside the home page, and we are able to generate the about component when we navigate to the about page. All right. And so one more thing that I noticed is that when I click on the cards, they are not directing me to another page, which is an issue. And for us to fix that, let's navigate back to the cards. And yeah, right now I realize that instead of having the index, the item right there, I am placing the index, which is not correct. So if I go with my item to access the URL and navigate back to my web page, you can see that yeah, I am able to hover it and show some kind of links for it to direct me to another page. So if I click on it, of course it's going to navigate me to the developer.mozilla.org for us to read more about HTML. And that is that about how our about section is going to be. And for us to continue, let's start creating our project section. So to get started, let me quickly show you this is what we are going to build. And for us to start coding, let me navigate to my text editor and close everything that we have right there. So let's navigate to the src folder and go to pages folder. Inside the pages folder, you're going to see another folder called project. And in here, we have 3 different files. So one of the files is called index.js. And I think in my last tutorial, I forgot to mention anything about index.js. This is the best time for me to show you what I have right there. And if I scroll to the top, you will see that I have imported few icons from React icons. The first one is the GitHub icon, and the second one is the URL icon. Right under it, I have imported few images from the asset folder. If I scroll all the way to the top and open the asset folder, and again go to image folder, all the images that I import are from this images folder. Okay. So right after that, I have created an array of objects, whereby each array represents each details about the specific project. Inside the first object, we have all the information that is required for us to display this amazing project. If I hover it, you can see the name, the description, the GitHub URL, and the live site URL, and all the technologies that is used to build this project. At the same time, we have the image, which represents the thumbnail that I import from the asset folder, which I told you earlier. So if I show you everything that we have right there, these are all the information that we're going to use for us to display the project nicely on our webpage. So with that being said, I think I'm going to open the project page.jsx for us to start creating it. The first thing I will do is to run my command rafce to create a React functional component. And in here, I want to start importing few things that we are going to use. So the first one is going to be fade, and then it's coming from react-reveal/fade. And at the same time, I'm going to import the blast, which is coming from the $/component/blast, and then /blast animation, and then we go with blast component. And right after that, we are going to make use of another component which I have already created inside the component folder. Just navigate to the component folder and you will see another folder called the project. And in here, I have a file called the project.jsx. And basically, this is a component that we are going to make use for us to iterate over all the items and display them nicely on our project page. So what I have to do is to run another command RAFCE to create a React functional component. And let me navigate back to my project page.jsx and import that component from the component folder. So let me go with project, and it's coming from component and then projects and project folder, like so. And the next thing that I have to do now is to import the project array that I have inside the index.js. As you can see, I'm going to import this array and we're going to iterate over it for us to display our project nicely on the web page. So let me navigate back to the project page.jsx, and right after that, let me import the project like so. And then this one is coming from the index. Okay, so right after that, I'll go with my parentheses and go with section, and in here it's going to have a class name called section __ project, and it's going to have another class name called section __ padding. So inside the section tag, I'm going to go with another div. The div is going to have a class name called fake-big. In here, I'm just going to pass in a text called project, like so. So right after the div, I'm going to go with h2, and the h2 is going to have the area label of my project, like so, and it's going to have a class name of section __ project dash title. And in here, I just want to pass in my blast component right away for us to have a nice animation on the project. So what I have to do is to pass in the letter class, which is going to have the letter class, the prop. The second one is the array string, and it's going to be the array of characters, and I'm going to write right away placing my project. So like so. So we are going to pass in the top prop called index letter, and it's going to have the value of 12. So for us to avoid the error that we have right there, let us import our use state and use effect from React. So let me go with use state and then go with use effect as well. So now let me create my state const called letter class and set letter class, and of course it's going to hold the class name of text animate, like so. And right after that, let's go with our use effect, like so. And inside the use effect, we are going to pass in the set timeout for us to change the class name after 3 seconds. So let's go with set letter class, and the class name that we are going to change it to is going to be text dash animate dash over. And let's pass in the second parameter with 3000 seconds value. And don't forget to add our array of dependencies right there. Okay, so basically that is all we have to do in order to have our nice animation on my project. Okay, so next let's Right after the h2, I'm going to go with another div. The div is going to have a class name of section underscore projects dash description. So inside this div, what I want to do now is to iterate over the projects that we import from the index file. Since it's an array, we can map over it, and I will go with my parentheses and specify a parameter called a project, and at the same time I will go with my index. And inside the return statement, all I want to do now is to render the project component that is coming from components folder. And as for the prop, I want to pass in all the items that we're getting back from this array, and I also specify the key as the index of each item. Okay, so now what I have to do is to navigate to the project component, and in here let me pass in some kind of prop, and we are going to get something back from this prop. So for me to show that to you in action, let me console.log whatever that we're getting back. So for us to see that on a web page, we need to import the project page into the component, home component. So let me navigate to the home folder. Let me navigate to the home folder and open the home.jsx. And right after the about, let me import the project page like so. It's coming from the project folder, and under this section I want to render the project page that I just import. If I navigate to the web page and scroll to the bottom, now you can see that we have the text my project, and then we have a bunch of projects text based on the number of items that we have inside the array. Okay, so now I also want to show you that we are getting some kind of value back. So let me go to the console. Let me navigate to the console, and inside the console you can see a bunch of objects. Okay, so inside one of the objects you can see the description, the GitHub URL, the ID, the image URL, and basically these are all the items that we are getting back from the component. Okay, so now I want to destructure it, and so let me navigate to the project, comment out the console.log, go with my const and curly bracket, assign it to the prop, and the first item that I'm getting back is the image URL. I have the name, we have the description, we have the stack, I have a GitHub URL, and then we have a website like so. So inside the return statement, I want to go with my parentheses, and I will import fade, even though I haven't made any imports. So let me go with import fade, and then it's coming from react-review/fade like so. And now let me go with my import. The direction is going to be from the bottom, and inside the fade I will have my section. Okay, the section is going to have a class name of section underscore projects dash single dash projects like so. And inside the section tag I will have my img. The img is going to have the src of img URL, and right after the image I'm going to have another div. The div is going to have a class name of section underscore project dash content, and inside the div I'm going to have a paragraph called with a value of name, which is going to be the name of the project. I'm going to have another one, and it's going to have a class name of description. The description is going to have the value of description, you guessed it. And right after the p element, I'm going to have another div. The div is going to have a class name of stack. The div is going to have a class name of section underscore projects dash stack like so. And inside the div, I'm going to go with h2 value, which is going to have the text of youth with, and right after that I'll have my span, which is going to hold the value of different stack, like so. So right after this div, I'm going to go with another div. So the div is going to have a class name called section underscore project dash icon, and I'm going to go with href value. The href value is going to direct us to, the first one is going to direct us to the GitHub URL. If you remember that the GitHub URL is an object that has the value of icon and then the URL to that specific project. So I'm going to go with my github.url, and it's going to have a class name. It's going to have a class name of switch underscore color. So inside the anchor tag, I have my curly bracket, and I will specify the GitHub icon that we have inside the array. Okay, so right after the first anchor tag, I'm going to go with another anchor tag and do the same thing for the URL live site, the live site of the project. So I'm going to go with website.url, and it's also going to have a class name of switch underscore color, and inside the anchor tag I'm going to display the website dash icon. Okay, dash icon. Make sure that I write it very well. Website dash icon, so like so. So now I think this is all we have to do inside the project component for us to see the result in action. Let me navigate to our web page and scroll a little bit down, and you are going to see these big images and then the text, which is the description of the project. And the reason why we are having this is because we haven't provided the Scss styles. So for us to actually get them, let's navigate to my GitHub repo, navigate to the final code, go to the src and then the component. In here you should see a folder called project, and click on the project.scss and copy everything. Let's navigate to our web page, and let's open the first project folder that is inside the component. Click on the project.scss and paste everything that we have right there. So inside the project.jsx at the top, let's import the Scss file immediately, like so. And we need to do the same thing for the project page.jsx. So for us to get that, let me open the project page.xcss. Let's navigate to my GitHub repo. Click on the YouTube tutorial React portfolio, and you should see the final code. Let's go to src and then navigate to pages. Inside the pages we have project page, we have project, and inside the project we have project page.scss. Click on it and copy all the styles that we have right there. Let's navigate back to the text editor, and inside the project page.scss paste everything that you just copied, and navigate back to the project page.jsx. At the top, we are going to import the Scss right away, like so. And if I navigate back to our web page, we should see some kind of value that changed, and yeah, it is looking pretty better, but we still have some kind of issues. So let me navigate to my text editor and scroll down. Okay, so here we have section underscore project dash description. It shouldn't be description, but instead of description we should have the wrapper. Okay, we should have the wrapper right here. And let's navigate back to our web page for us to see if we are right. And yeah, absolutely, it's looking pretty great. Okay, so we have our project and the description about the project, and everything is looking great. Okay, so one thing that I noticed is that we are missing the description that we have right there. If I go to the completed project, you will see we have some kind of description, and then we have all the projects that has been listed right there. So for us to solve the problem, let's navigate back to our text editor, and right after the header, we need to go with our fade that we import from React Review. Is going to fade from the bottom, and in here all we have to do is to pass in our P. So for us to get all the text, let's navigate to the completed project and copy everything like so, and let us paste the text right there. And yeah, it's looking pretty great. Let's navigate to our web page for us to see everything in action. And yeah, of course we have some kind of style that has been added. And for us to actually align the text properly, we are also missing something very important. And what we are missing is a div that has the class name of section __ projects dash description, like so. And inside the div, we are going to pass in everything right here inside the div. Okay, so if I navigate to the web page, and yeah, of course it's looking pretty great. Now we have our about section, the cards, and then we have the project section. So I think right now I'm going to stop right here, and in our next tutorial I will continue from where we stop and build the blog section, and then we are going to build the contact section, and then we start building the gaming section as well. So with that being said, I'll see you in our next tutorial.